Hi friend, my name is Chandramani Sahu, and today I've just planned to to make a one session for the group policy understanding, because I could see lot of viewers, they are asking about to make some session and make some video for a group policy. So as per their request, I have initiated this session for the to complete understand the group policy. So before we start the group policy, let's give you my introduction. My name is Chandramani Sahu, and I have more than 10 years of experience in IT industry, where I have experience in Windows. I have experience in different technologies like VMware, SCCM, as well as some cloud technologies like AWS and Azure. And also I am experienced in scripting, I mean PowerShell. So there are and other technology also. So and 4 years experience in online training. So that's all about myself. So without any delay, so let's start a group policy. So before we start the group policy, we should understand where the group policy came. As an administrator, we know that how you know we can promote the domain controller, which means active directory I'm talking about. So when we talk about active directory, everyone thinking about oh, it's a multi-master authentication, and it helps us to centrally manage all the object in active directory. That's correct, but how it could be? Active Directory is not a single components. It contains various components. Let's give an example. When we are promoting the domain controller, at that time, it's not like an Active Directory users and component is installing. It is installing Active Directory user and components, as well as there are a lot of components installing. So the one components is a group policy. So each and every components having certain responsibility, so which you know uh, together, I mean all the components having certain responsibility, which together the active directory makes success for I mean makes easy for administrator to manage all the object, to manipulate all the object, to control all the object in our active directory environment. So when I talking about the group policy, it's not just about the one or two policy and some of the 100 objects. I'm just talking about the big organization, huge organization, where IT administrator is working. It's lakhs of objects are there, where thousands of policies are there. You know, one system administrator, I got some queries from my viewers. They are telling, so it is very difficult to understand in my environment's group policy, because there are thousands of group policies are there. So definitely it's very difficult, it will be very difficult to understand your group policy infrastructure when you will be working on the big organization, a big IT infrastructure. Until unless if you're not clear about your funda about the group policy, you will be definitely uh, get the problem, get doubts on that. So that's what this video will help you to understand more about the group policy. It is not just about the understand the more. I will explain about the composed part of the group policy object, and the component of the group policy object. And I will take you I mean take you through about the group policy console view, and we will discuss some uh, points in the console view. Okay, so actually the group policy objects are actually composed in two parts. The group policy container, that is called the GPC, which exist in the active directory, and the second is called the group policy template, that is called the GPT, where the actual content of your GPOs resides. And the third components of group policy, which is called client side extension, that is CSEs, and can be found on client device. and are necessary to them to properly process the group policy assigned to them. When we are assigning the group policy to the client, I mean deploying the group policy defined, this is very important, the client side extension, to process them properly. If this is not there, the policies will not apply properly, process them properly. So it is necessary. So before discuss I mean before we go through the individual pieces, like things, the GPC, GPT and CSE, let's take you guys the group policy console view. So here is my labs. Okay, this is, if you see here, I installed the Active Directory. I mean I promoted its domain and DNS also there. If you see here, uh, the computer name is INDDC India DC1, and the domain is uh, I mean TNT dot local. Okay, so this is my Active Directory environment. This is my DC. So take you look the group policy console. Here is the group policy console. So you can get it from here. If you go to the tools, you can open this group policy management console. You will get this console here. Okay, so if you look at here, I have created one policy, that is event log size, which is applied to GPO. But guys, just think about it now. It is very easy. It's just about Windows 2019, correct? So we are using. But if you think about before 2008 server, you could see the where the GPO is linked and located. Okay, but in earlier days in Active Directory, the real way to get the GPO is to open the location where it was linked, a domain, I mean organized unit, or the sites where applied. So this made it appear that GPO existed on those places where the Active Directory, when they were actually and only linked. uh, but if you see nowadays, in this console, in the scope, if you go to the scope here, you could see that where this group policy is linked. It is simple, like this is the location, right? But earlier it is difficult to find out. You have to be open that location manually, then you can see that. But now you could see here. Okay, so in this console, if you see here, this has been linked. Yes, right, it has been enabled. The group policy linked to workstation, I mean OU, correct? So just remember, link to means, I mean it is linked, right? That means it is applied, correct? The group policy is applied. Linked means it is applied. But if you see here, the second part, which is called the enforced, correct? Enforced is no, means what? I mean just I just try to make you understand these 2 points, because these 2 points are very interesting and very important. It is just a foundation, right? It's just to understand. Now you started to understand the group policy. So you can see from this console, the event log size is linked to workstation, correct? And within this forest, TNT, the local forest, right? And you can see that the link is enabled, means the policy is applied. Okay, so if the policy is applied, what does it mean enforce no? What does it mean enforced, I mean not enforced? It means that the policy can be blocked if the administrator or the workstation OU wishes to prevent this policy to applying. So that means you understand, right? this is applied, the policy is applied here. But if the workstation administrator, this workstation OU administrator wants, you know, to prevent this policy to apply this, it can be blocked, right? But if it is when the enforced is enabled, the block cannot be done. Now enforce is not enabled, so it can be blocked to apply this policies. You got my point? Because this is very interesting and you should understand this, uh, point actually, correct? Because these are small points, the people are not understanding. So when they are seeing, oh, this is the policy, this has been applied, that's it, they understand, oh, this policy is applied linked to this OU and it has been applied, that's it. But they are not understanding this meaning. So it is very important to understand these small things, because as I told you, when you will be work on the big organization where your big IT infrastructure, these things is needed. You got my point? So you have to be clear about your funda. Okay. So now in the first piece of the GPO, you know I mean so if you like, you understand this is applied, right? But in this console, where the GPUs is reside, when I told you, right, GPUs is resides in the Active Directory. I told you here, right? There are two components. One second, there are two components, right? One is group policy container, GPC, and one second is group policy template, okay, where the components are there in the template, correct? Actually, GPUs will be resides, correct? But when I'm talking this, actually this is misleading. You might be thinking, I'm just misleading, bit misleading on this, as there there really is no group policy object container in the Active Directory. But I'm talking, this is resides in the group policy in Active Directory, right? But actually really it is not contained. So instead the actual structure of GPO is, if you see here, okay, so if you see here, within the Active Directory, in order to see, there are the several options actually to see the GPU, where the GPU is resides. Let's open the Active Directory user and computers, where we could see the GPU. Actually there are the several ways to find the group policy container. Okay, if you see here, you can see the system container. Okay, I could not see the system container because you need to enable this feature, advanced feature, then only you could see the system container, right? So if you go to the system container here, you could see the policies. See, each and every policies having the certain responsibility, right? Certain settings, correct? If you see, these are the policies, okay, these are the policies. If you click this policy, the machine and user, so machine object is responsible the machine level policy, and user is responsible for the user level policies. So if you see, each policy is here, it could be. So I could see here that total 3 policies I could see, right? 1 2 3. If you open this, how many policies we have? Actually, if you do the group policy object, only 3 policies. One is default domain controller policy, default domain policy, and the event log size, which I have created. So these are the default policies are there. So total 3 policies are there. You could see the policies here, correct? So group policy here, right? So every policy having the 2 components, machine and user. So machine is responsible the machine level policies, user is responsible for the user level policies, correct? So this is the one way you could see the group policies here. Okay, let me take you another way to see how we will see the group policy in this. Okay, so for that, what we will do here, let's just carefully remember these things, because this is very important to you. Okay, so I just open the LDIP. Okay, just type the ldef and the run command. So open this command and don't do any changes in this, in your environment. For your understanding, I'm just telling to you, just go through with it. Okay, go to the connection tab and connect it. So you need to put your fully qualified, domain controller, and just connect to 389 port, right? Just okay it. So now it has been connected, right? Now we have to bind this. To bind, go to the bind here and bind with your credential. The credential should have the proper rights to modify any GPOs. Okay, so I have that right, so I just put an okay, and then you go to the view and go to the tree, and here you just put the your DN, distinguished name, right? So in my case, my distinguished name will be DC equal TNT and DC equal to local. This is my domain control, right? So this way you need to mention your distinguished name. Okay, so it will once you do this, it will view like a tree, right? Okay, so here also if you go to the system container, and you could see this. Okay, let me do the bigger one, this one, so it will easy to show you. Okay, and this container, you could see the policy, right? Policies are there, right? So here also you could see the 3 policies is there. Let's take an example. If you are selecting this policy, the first policy, uh, you could see right here, see, and here this is the tree. If you see here, expand the policy, I just select this policy, and it is showing the policy, system container, where it is located, and the CNS policy distinguished name you could see here, and the DS core, propagation data, and instance name, instance policy name, category, containers. If you click this one also, double click, you could see this is the what uh, I mean things are there. It's default domain policy. Okay, and if you click this one, okay, so here you could see about the policy details as well. But I just wanted to clear something here to you, like when I double click here, you could see about the policy, right? So about the policy means what you could see this policy. So where the policy is located, container, right? When I told you the policy is containing an active directory, okay, you could see here the policy is actually containing in the sysvolume folder. If you see here, this is the path. Okay, if you go this path, if you copy this path also, in run command, you just put, you will see the policies here also. You could see the policies is there, 3 policies are there. So here the policies is located in the sysvolume folder, correct? And okay, let me explain one by one the several attributes having these policies. It is our special interest is to know these attributes. So when you understand all the deeper things of the group policy, then you will be the master, right? It is not just about how the policy is applied and it is applied to clients, so that's it. Okay, that is not things. So our special interest would be to know deeper things on the group policy, correct? So the first things, okay, here the policy names, and this is the distribution name with policy ID. If you see, this is the CN ID, and this is the propagation data means the creation of the or the policy, the date, time, this is the you will get the flag 0, and the policy path, and the functionality version. So this is also very important thing, you should know the functionality version. So this is the policy version is 2, right? It keep on changing the version. The reason keep on changing means it's not automatically will change. See, if I modification this policy, if I modify something on this existing policy, the versions will change. Now, there is a good topic, version change. You can ask me, sir, what will help to change the version? Also, it may be, the policy version change means what will help to us? It's nothing, right? Yes, it is very important things when interviewer asks the question to you. So whenever you change the policies, how client computer knows that policy has been changed because of this version. See, now this version is 2, right? So it has been applied to client, and and the version is 2 is applied, right? When you change it, it will version is 3, then the client will connect to here. So he see that, and the client will see that, oh, it's a version 3 and mine was 2, so I need to be update that. So accordingly it will update. So version is very important. Okay, so this is, you know the client will update to know the version. First he will know the version, then he will update accordingly. Okay, so, and second thing, machine extension name, right? As I told you, there is a component right here. I explained to you the client side extension, correct? This will help the policy to process properly, right? So this is what the machine extension name. Okay, so it will here it will mention the machine extension names. So I mean, it will have to process the GPOs and write you. These are the some critical system object instances time, and this is the name with ID, and the object category here. You know, GUID in the classes, top container, group policy container, and so advanced review and you. You know, so these are some things you have to be remember. Actually, you have to be remember these things, because this is the things where you should know. Okay, so what are the attributes we discussed? It is very important. So you have to be remember these things in proper way. So I'm just looking another attributes. So where this we have linked on the group policy, we have linked to workstation, right? So in that workstation view, could you see this workstation? Yeah, this one, correct? If you go here, I mean, in this there is an attribute called GP link, correct? This one. So this will tell you where this is been linked, correct? This will tell you, this attribute will tell you where the this policy is linked actually. Okay, so each and everything you could find it here, okay, in this LDEP tool also, but don't use this on your environment. If you do some modification on this tool, and it will replicate to your Active Directory environment, and will create some problems. So better to don't touch this tool, but for your understanding I just told you. So now we have seen the Active Directory portion for the group policy object. So it contains the setting, so that the client can learn which GPO is must process, correct? So which tool is to it will need to process them. So, and how to locate the GPO contained in order to process, right? So these things we have seen. Now our second topic would be, I mean, GPO template. I mean, where the GPO store, correct? So here, if you could see, the first things we have completed, I mean, not completed properly. We just understand the group policy container only, and the, I mean, how we can view this group policy container, how we could see the policies, everything we have seen, all the attribute also we will see. Now the templates, I mean, container. So we will I mean, I told you, right, this is resides in the components that resides in the group policy template, right, in Active Directory. So that I will explain on the second part. This is the first part. We have completed the group policy. Make sure if already watch one time, if you not understand, you just pause the video again just to watch, because this is important things you have to be do, correct? So thanks for watching this part as well. So I will look forward in the next session, next part, so where we will discuss about the group policy, yeah, template. So thanks for watching this video.